Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And I am doing something stupid. I do stupid things a lot. You know, that's fair. I do things that are somewhat stupid. A lot. So what stupid thing am I doing today? I don't need to make this video. I don't. Listen, I give myself a personal rule. I like to put out, 2 videos a day. That's kind of 2 videos a day or 1 big live stream, right? That's what I feel like I'm accomplished what I want to do on YouTube, or whatever platform I'm on. Right, and so I've got that done. It's uploaded. It's in the can. They're like, it's not just making a video. You need to think about it. That's a big one. You need to make it. That normally takes some time. And then you got to make a thumbnail. Thumbnails are always go on for a while, right? But I think I'm going to reuse the basics of a thumbnail I did for my live stream last night. So I talked about this on a live stream last night, and I was just going to clip out that section. I thought, no, you know what? Because once you set out this whole thought, right, the second time round makes it clear and makes it make a lot more sense. And I think it's like reasonably important we need to talk about, right? Which is why I made the Sonic video, right? That is essentially why. Before we get into it, can you hit the like, share, and subscribe button? Normally, I know how long my video is going to go for. I either do like a 10 to 20 minute video or a 40 minute to an hour video, right? No idea how long this is. Buckle in. It could be 10 minutes. For me, that'd be great if it is, right? That means I'll get most of my day back. But anyway, I do guess. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all those things. I'm going to tell you what I think. Let me know what you think, especially if you disagree with me, right? If you are on the other side of the cultural aisle, which is kind of the point of this, right? If you're on the other side of the cultural aisle, then have your say. You're welcome to come on the channel, not even as a confrontational thing. I would much rather have a conversation, right? Because I think when you talk things out, things get better and clearer and less insane, right? Absolutely less insane. So like, share, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think, as I said. Sign up my Substack with my email newsletter. This is Friday. I think I'm putting this video out today. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Saturday. I don't know. But if you sign up my Substack, I send out out-of-print Virgin New Adventure novels, PDFs of them on Friday. So what am I going to do today? Maybe Transit. Oh, I love a bit of Transit. That's one of Ben Arowich's first new adventure. It's really good. Is it his first one? But it was really, really good. I remember enjoying it a lot. Big Finish, please start making books on tape of these adventures. This is a lost era, and it breaks my bloody heart. And I say the intro of all my videos right now. So sign up my Substack. You get lots of free stuff, and I appreciate it. You want to sign up to my paid one? I'm not going to stop you. I am not going to stop you, and I send out more free stuff on that one. Look, everything's digital, baby. Everything. I really wanted to do some animated art cards at one point for your phone. I got into them because I was looking at NFTs as because there seems to be a weird way of making money. The bots fall out of that market now, but I really like the idea, right? I really like the idea. One day when I have time, I will do that. I would love to do like digital moving cards, art cards, like based on my favorite moments of Doctor Who, for example, like that great Tom Baker scene was holding up the wires. Do I have the right? That one. Yeah, I would love to do that. Absolutely. But will I have time? I don't know. So like, share, subscribe, comment, sign up my Substack email newsletter. Lets you know where you can find me. Fine. So we live in strange times. What is strange about these times we're living in? We live in in the Western world, we live in an environment of constant outrage. Like constant, a cycle of outrage, right? And we live in a time when we're all very divided. I mean, there's a cultural divide, I think, that's very, very, very strong going through society. Both sides want to say, we're the majority, we are 100%, there's only like 3% of them, right? Both sides want to say that. Both sides are saying exactly the same things about each other. And I think we're being used, right? I think we are being used by disingenuous people for different reasons, essentially. But I think we are genuinely being used and manipulated into this constant cycle of outrage, right? Which is basically where we are right now. Which is what we're going to talk about. So let's pull up this thing first, right? So this kind of started off. When was it? earlier this week, Rusty Davies, was it earlier this week? I think it was. Rusty Davies had a, is this a no? Rusty Davies went to an award show and won an award. And as he does on award shows, often, right? As he does, he makes a very political speech saying, the Tories are evil, the normal stuff, right? The normal stuff that he does. We have an element of toxic fandom that really came in and became emboldened with Jodie Whittaker, right? And I'm not saying all Jodie Whittaker fans are toxic. Most of the ones I've interacted with are, but they really came in with Jodie Whittaker because Jodie Whittaker, I think, reflected the opinions of the Twitterati, who are that's the layer of toxic fandom. They have trolls live under bridges. Toxic fandom lives on Twitter, and it really fueled them. And the trouble with toxic fandom is it's destroyed everything. In fact, no, let's go further. It's not just toxic fandom. The trouble with these divisive times we live in, this cycle of constant outrage, is we're all miserable, right? I know we're all miserable on my side of the cultural aisle. I assume they're miserable on the other side of the cultural aisle, because this is not how human beings are supposed to live. Human beings are not supposed to live in a state of perpetual war or perpetual hatred, and it's bad for you to do that, right? So I think we're all, everything is a very emotional argument. There's very little to do with logic, right? Which is because I think social media platforms, amongst others, have worked out that the more outrage there is, the more anger there is, the more people stay on their platform. And staying on their platform is the number one thing. Plus, these social media platforms are incredibly biased, right? And really absolutely hateful to people on my side of the culture are, right? They will say, oh, there's none of you, you're just ignorant, evil wastelands. We're really not. In fact, I think the other side of the culture are racist, but that's what we're going to get into. But this speech really rolled up tensions, which is a shame, which is a big shame, because after Christian years have been very divisive, right? Because the writing of Doctor Who has been very low quality and very ideologically platformed, I think is the way. It's been woke, okay? What's the definition of woke? Which is what the working definition I'm going with. It's the uncomfortable platforming of ideas in an existent popular media, right? So and almost all, and it has to be coupled with, so I say almost always, no, I think universally, coupled with a breathtaking drop in quality, right? A breathtaking drop in quality, because a lot of the times I think people use these social issues to mask their inability to write, which I think is what Christian did, right? Also, I don't think he's a very, what's the word I would use? Clever person. I don't think he's a very deep person, right? I think he's a very superficial person, which would explain why it's Doctor Who. His writing is so incredibly superficial, right? But we all had a sense that when Christian was leaving, and somebody who's a genuine writer, and perhaps one of the greatest living writers in the medium today, Rusty Davies was going to take over, and I think most saw it as a complete admission of failure, right? I mean, if you needed another complete admission of failure, the viewing figures, the sales data, another complete admission of failure. That hit to come back, and they did. Christian said, "I couldn't pass it to anybody." I wonder why that was, Chris. Right? I wonder why that went down. So anyway, we were reasonably hopeful we'll just get good Doctor Who. Which doesn't mean it's not political. Which doesn't mean it has a political bent that you disagree with. Right? Good Doctor Who can often be very overtly political as long as it's good Doctor Who. I point you to Andrew Cartmel or Malcolm Hughes, both of which have political outlooks which I don't share, right? I really don't share. And I think I loved Happiness Patrol. I loved, Peladon stories. Because they're compelling narratives. And the other thing is I like to see the world from perspectives that aren't my own, which is kind of like kryptonite to this constant outrage that we live in, right? And we do live in an era of constant outrage. So I think I think Russell T Davies is being duped by it. I think they were duped, controlled. Because again, how do you control a person? If you control their emotional state, right? If you control their emotional state, you control that person. I think that's what's going on. So, and also, a lot of the times the people you're controlling aren't very clever. So there is that. So let's have a look at a few of the things that have happened in the wake of this. So yeah, we'll move this over a bit. So this is Instagram, an Instagram posting by Christopher Eccleston. I assume it's Instagram, right? Yeah, and obviously, Instagram is the platform of socialism. Yeah, right. It's so dumb. Anyway, Christopher Eccleston writes, the Conservative Party and government are inhuman, immoral, and diseased. I actually thought you were being genuine when you said inhuman and immoral. When you got to diseased, unless you're talking about COVID, no, they're not, right? No, they're not. And the implication of this is that the Labour government wouldn't be so. I want to remind you, the Conservatives didn't win a massive, massive victory in 2019. They didn't win a massive victory because they were better, because they were good. No, they won that massive victory because Labour was a disaster. It remains a disaster, right? You had an anti-Semite run Labour for many years, and he ran it into the ground, and you still refuse to accept that basic reality. I mean, even after the election, well, we won the argument. No, you didn't. If you won the argument, you would have won the election, you morons, right? And look, granted, the Conservatives may indeed be inhuman, immoral, and diseased, right? But that doesn't preclude Labour from being it. And if I have the choice of inhuman, immoral, or diseased people who are anti-Semitic but don't have policy based on that, and inhuman, immoral, diseased people that are anti-Semitic and do have policy based on that, I'm going to go with the ones that don't have policy based on it. I'm not even going to say the Conservatives are anti-Semitic. I'm just going to say that Labour under Jeremy Corbyn and Momentum was anti-Semitic. Why? Because it fit the definition of anti-bloody Semitism, as we're going to see quite a lot through this. So, look, Chrissy, mate, Chris, you're not a happy person. I don't think you're a particularly stable person. Every time I hear you talk, you seem really genuinely depressed. You're a fantastic actor. You are. You're absolutely a fantastic actor. I loved your Doctor Who, and I will continue to love your Doctor Who, right? But I think this cycle of outrage is not healthy for you, right? So, the normative response is to be outraged back, right? I think that's what they want. They want you people to be outraged back. And then they're outraged at our outrage, and we're outraged at their outrage, and the outrage just continues and we're all miserable, right? We're all absolutely miserable. I mean, listen, Chris, you want to tell me you're not miserable? Every time I see you interviewed, you're like, oh, maybe I'll go. If you can take the TARDIS anywhere in time and space, I've always remembered the Matt Smith trailer. I'll take you anywhere you want. Here, we can go anywhere in time, anywhere in space. One rule, it's got to be awesome, right? And then you go, oh, I think I'll go to Durham and meet somebody like a suffragette that was murdered by the fascists. I mean, everything he says is dour and life is better than that, Chris, mate. You got to learn to smile. Learn to smile. Life isn't as bad as you are constantly being told, and do not trust legacy media, right? Do not trust. They want you to be miserable. They want us to hate each other, right? They do. And the fact is, Chris, we all basically have the same bottom line drives. A few don't, but basically we all want the most good for the most people. And that's not a right wing or left wing thing. It used to be, before we moralize our political differences, we would all agree on that. We all wanted the best for everyone, and we disagreed on the way to get there, right? But that's gone now, because we spent the last 10 years moralizing our political grievances. Right, and it hasn't really worked out. So we got a new generation of kids who are grown up in this idiocy and insanity of constant outrage, right? And so when they saw Russell make this speech, they're like, yes, own the, what do they call it? Not own the libs, the other side. Own the cons. I don't know. Right. But it's not healthy behavior for anybody, right? So I'm going to suggest this. Don't do what you want to do. Don't do what's normal and natural to do and respond in kind, right? I would respond with compassion, right? I would respond in compassion to people like Chris Chibnall. Why? Because he has been genuinely controlled and duped, right? And same with Russell E. Davies, right? To their absolute disadvantage. It's just the truth of what it is. But let's go a little bit deeper, shall we? So we had this post over here. In respect, move this over, doink. Let me zoom out so you can read the whole thing. Sorry, but how are there Republican and Tory Doctor Who fans? How are Republicans and Tory Doctor Who fans even a thing? Even in especially the Russell T. Davies here. I'll explain why. I'll explain why you're confused, right? Because you're a baby-brained imbecile, which has a moronic two-dimensional view of people not like you. You have a dislike of the unlike. You know, great line by Ian Chesterton. I mean, he didn't write the line. He's not real. But, you know, who wrote that? Terry Nation, right? A dislike of the unlike. That's what you have. And you have a dislike of an unlike because you have a cartoon-like two-dimensional view on people who do not share your outlook, right? That's why. Not dissimilar in any way, shape, or at all from the way Germans in the 1930s looked at Jews, right? And for exactly the same reasons. The Jews, they're spreading immorality, they're genetically impure. They all believe that same nonsense. They all have that same two-dimensional view of it. That's why, as you know, many people older than you may have tried to tell you that othering people isn't a good idea, right? And when I got the screen grab, I saw he just passed an exam. I'm like, oh, of course you're a kid, right? Obviously you're a kid. Why? Because you're a baby brain moron, right? And they have such a moronic view of people not like them. They genuinely believe. They genuinely believe that if you're a Republican, right? And again, let me be clear. I think both sides are garbage, okay? I want to be absolutely clear. I think the worst of society leads us. I don't mean any, ambiguity about that. But they generally think Republicans, your average Republican voter, wants there to be no abortion so they can control and dominate women, so they can because they're scared of them, right, or whatever. Who knows what the motivation, but they want to abolish abortion to use pregnancy as a way of controlling women, which is nonsense, which is absolute nonsense, which you just got to live in your bubble to be able to believe. The issues like this. Yes, a baby, in my opinion, a baby gestating in a mother is considered whatever happens to that pregnancy. That's the mother's body, right? And I understand that's not a popular opinion on my side of the aisle, but it is. I believe if you have a life growing inside you, if you have something growing inside you, it's inside you, and you have dominance over that, right? And I also believe there are many situations where. Ending that life is necessary, right? I generally believe that, right? But I believe it's also a life, right? And the only reason we're debating is it life or isn't it life is to avoid the real question. The real question is, does life have sanctity? I mean, surely by Bill Barr, I heard that Bill Burr, I think. Has this, what's it on Netflix thing, this comedy special where he talks it out very well. He's like, yeah, I believe everything. It's a woman's right to choose, it's her body. And then you go, but you're probably killing a baby. So there is that, right? There is that. So the question, and then he has a very good bit where he goes on. He says, it's like, I make myself a birthday cake. I put the batter into a pan and put it in the oven. Then somebody comes along and throws it out of the oven and destroys it. I said, what are you doing to my birthday cake? I said, that's not a birthday cake. It's just a batter, but it's actually better when it's batter. It's just batter. It's nothing. But it would have been. So, but at the same time, abortions are, I think, not just medically necessary. I think sociologically necessary as well. Going from 0 to 100 is never good for anyone, right? But they generally believe they believe that Republican Americans want women to be forced to carry babies to term, right? And they will lie their asses off about it. So here's what's really going on. The first stupid thing they believe is that the Supreme Court enacted an overreach, right, to remove rights from women. No, what actually happened is they reduced their power, right, which is very uncommon. The Supreme Court reduced their power by saying we do not have the right to impose a federal law on something that goes to that different states can decide, right? So. Why should different states decide it? Because it goes back to, does life have sanctity? Intrinsically, does life have any sanctity? Right? The people on the other side of the culture are, and I know you don't like hearing it, but they don't think life does have sanctity. The only time life has worth if it is emotionally connected to someone, and if it's not, if there's a baby born and nobody wants it, it's just a clump of cells inside the body, outside the body. Life genuinely has no sanctity, and that's how they view things in New York, in LA. Life doesn't have sanctity. It's only our connection to each other, our emotional connection, that gives it any worth. But life intrinsically doesn't have sanctity. For example, a woman, like a 22-year-old woman, gets pregnant, right? And they go, well, this is going to destroy my life. I can't go to college. I can't do the job I want. Can't do anything. I better have an abortion, right? It's her body, her right to do it. Is that involving killing a person? Probably it is, right? I can't disagree with it. Yeah, it probably is. But essentially, it's this. The what the Supreme Court was saying is, why should the people in California who don't believe life has sanctity impose their moral, or I will say immoral, view on the people of, say, Alabama that do believe life has sanctity, right? And I will point out also, women are allowed to vote in Alabama, right? This is a popular, having abortion curtailed. I don't even know how much it's curtailed, right? But having abortion curtailed is a very popular opinion in Alabama, because they think it's killing a person, which it probably is, right? It probably is. But you see, through this short discussion, the idea that Republicans want to dominate and control women through abortion is nonsense. It's absolutely nonsense. But I also agree there's a debate there. But baby-brained idiots don't want to do that, right? Because they've been brought up in this sense of constant outrage that we live in, or the sense of constant outrage, or they're genuinely bad people. We're going to be seeing bad people in this as well. But I don't know. Did they just ignore the basic premise and ideals of the show? No, we're just cleverer than you. Right? You're an idiot! I'm sorry! You're an idiot! I choose everything that the Doctor stands for. Listen, mate. Up until Jodie Whittaker, the Doctor was a brilliant genius, iconoclastic character, right? A character that didn't feel the need to follow any social mores or do anything out of rote, which is what you do in the virtue signaling world of the Twitterati, right? Look, every Doctor before Jodie Whittaker would have been disgusted with those who live on Twitter, right? Why? Because you have no moral value whatsoever. I mean, essentially, why is the world so out of control? Such a disaster right now. I think we're looking at what the world looks like without a shared biblical morality, right? And that's really what I think the war is. This cultural war is all about. And the weird thing is, we'll get onto it with the next slide. But the weird thing is, everything is so opposite of what everyone's saying. Tune everything out the Doctor stands for, and just whatever big space and explosions. It sounds like you're just a baby-brained idiot, right? You want to come on my channel and talk about it, and I'm more than welcome. You're more than welcome. Make it make sense. I just did. So another one G'd up by Russ D. Davies was Owen, whose commissions are open apparently, but I don't know what the commissions are for. Doctor 2 has no place for homophobes, transphobes. So this is another tenet of woke culture, right? Of it, what's something being woke, that it's always, when I say it's the uncomfortable platforming of ideology, it's the uncomfortable platforming of several ideologies, some of which that everybody agrees with, and some of which very few people agree with. Now, the whole trans, not even debate, dictation that we've lived in for the last few years, it's all about making people's lives better. If you're trans and you feel like you can't come out, then you might kill yourself, right? And your life is worse. So I would say that the push to the push to demonize normative heterosexual relations it is being done to promote non-cis relations, right? Now, is that going to make the world better? Is that going to make people happier? So here's what I mean by that. For over 95% of human beings throughout our entirety of history, the best sex, the most happiness one has with in terms of their sexual life, their romantic life, is by being a virgin when they get married and staying monogamous your entire life, right? Which sounds super boring and goes against everything we say in Western culture, right? But that still will give you the data unquestionably it shows you will have a better life. Why is that out? Okay, another thing they believe about the dislike for the unlike. They believe that Republicans hate black people. They just hate black people and want to see them thrown in jail, and they love there being police squads that execute people because they're black people. No. The reason that there is disproportionate policing and incarceration amongst the black population is because the black population, a large segment of it, was targeted to be kept in poverty. You keep somebody in poverty by removing the family structure. Not having a father in the home is the greatest indicator of if you will go into criminality or not, right? The greatest indicator. And that was for about 30 years, maybe more. The Democrats, the other side of the cultural war, have enacted policies to remove fathers from homes in lower income homes by financially rewarding that, right? And the result is more criminality, which means more policing, which means more people thrown in jail, which means more misery, and they say, look how awful the Republicans are for a problem that they caused, right? So doctrine is no place for homophobes. I genuinely have nothing against gay people. I understand. Look, the idea of being in a heterosexual relationship, virgin when you get married, and monogamous whole life isn't a door open to that many people. I mean, it isn't a door open to everyone. I get that. I do get that. So I am not in favor of abusing anyone for their identity. Transphobes. Now, I am. They will call me absolutely transphobic, right? Even though I mean no harm to anybody transgender. If you want to present as a gender that doesn't match your biological sex, that's your right. You can do that. That's fine. I don't think it's to the benefit of society in any way to say this is normative and healthy sexual behavior, right? And why? Because the data overwhelmingly shows it, right? I do not think that. So, but live and let live. I'm happy to be wrong, and I have no need to control the universe. So yeah, they will call me a transphobe. Yes, because I think, generally speaking, I'm not sure the science is behind men having babies and periods and women having penises. I'm not, and it's weird. It seems to be the one of the few areas that science and religion kind of agrees, and they're like, no, racist. No, so now because of that, right? All the other things. They can call everybody other. They can other people. So because I'm not sure if it's a normative, healthy sexual behavior to say men can have babies and women can have penises. I am a homophobe, racist, sexist, misogynist. Republican, Tories, UKIP, right wingers, Nazis, and xenophobes. They're all together, right? Anybody, and the reason I think they've added in the T section is so they can find a way of hating the people who aren't like them. Like they're with it. No. I don't know how much you believe this, right? I think you probably do believe it because we live in a world of relentless conditioning to believe this sort of stuff. But again, you have a baby brain imbecilic view on people who are not like you. And Russell, you are not helping anybody, including the LGBTQ plus, by inciting these utter cockwombles. If you're one of these things, get the F out of here! You're not welcome and never will be! Listen, mate. You're being controlled. You are being controlled. And all I would say is this. Open yourself up to media that you don't normally look at, right? Russell Brand has a good YouTube channel. Not my outlook at all. But a very good YouTube channel, right? Puts out good stuff every day. If you're looking at the world as black and white, evil, good versus evil, you're being silly, right? It's just that's not how people are more complex than that. Some are not, which is why I made this video. So this guy over here, Mr. Trilby, I think is genuinely not a good person, right? I don't know what's going on in his life that makes him not a good person, right? But I don't think he's a good person. I think he genuinely likes to cause strife and misery. I think that makes him feel good about himself, right? Listen. He look at pictures of him. He recently got married, and to me, it seems to be he's got a beard, but it might not be the one on his face, right? And that's all the code I'm going to talk in. And I don't know if I'm right about that, but wouldn't be funny if I am. I kind of get a feeling I am. So, it's been a bad week for all 12 conservative Doctor Who fans. So this is what they have to do, right? They live in delusion, right? They live in this relentless delusion that they're fighting a noble fight, right? They're fighting this noble fight against waithists and bigots. Why? Because that's what they've been programmed to think, because they're idiots, right? They're idiots. And also, this guy's kind of full of hate, I think. He really is. I think everybody's redeemable, right? I think everybody can get better. And I really like him to get down to the issue of why he is such a hateful person. I mean, which he says here, like his next thing. And if you're a Doctor Who fan, also hate Tories. You shouldn't hate anybody. Like, I think Biden is an evil person. I genuinely do. I don't think everybody who voted for him is an evil person, right? I think Jeremy Corbyn is a racist, right? I think a lot of people who voted for him were racist too. Quite frankly, it does come out really quickly when you quite who's funding you, Jew? I mean, it really came out very, very, very quickly, right? So I don't know. One of the things he quoted here was Russell D. Davies on Instagram. Apparently he deleted this and it was real. I don't know. I've never seen it, right? It seems like a really bad idea. So this guy saying, Russell, why did you, I love you. Why did you block my main account? And he says, because you're a Republican cunt. Now, he may have said that. He may well have said that. He certainly said everything at the awards dinner, right? So, receiving the award. And honestly, here's what I think happened. You got to look at people as complex beings, because that's what we are, generally speaking. And I think, he believes all that stuff. He lives in an environment where he's, again, constantly pushed into outrage, right? Over things that aren't real. Like, is the abortion question in America about controlling women? No. Are the police racist in America? Probably not, right? It's everything they believe is a lie, right? Everything they believe. I'm happy to go over anything in detail. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But you know how I'm not wrong? Because I'm okay with being wrong. They're not okay with being wrong, right? So what I think is Russell gave the speech. And he went home and he got laid. He had really, really good sex because he felt very good about himself. He felt, powerful, right? That's what I think was really happening, right? A little more than that. Does he want people who vote Republican to watch his Doctor Who? Yes, I think he does. Maybe I'm wrong. We're gonna find out in about a year. But also, look around the world, right? Look around where we are today in the universe. Why are they why are they freaking out so much, right? Look at the world. Everything they believed in has been proved to be a complete failure, right? Yes, Bojo was useless in England too. I agree with you. Everybody hated Bojo, and the Conservatives they're only marginally less awful than the Labour, right? Only marginally, but they are less awful than Labour. Why? Because Labour was infected by anti-Semites led by Jeremy Corbyn. Very, very simply. There's no real way you can get round that. It's and honestly, anybody who comes out talking like a human being and actually on either Labour or Conservative, Republican or Democrat, well, Democrat, they won't be allowed to speak. Anybody who comes out talking vaguely like a human being, right, on either side of the political spectrum, and say, we got to stop hating each other, right? This is insane, right? There's no reason why Democrats can't be pro some restrictions to abortion, like Bill Clinton said it should be safe, legal, and rare. Should not. There's no reason why there can't be a Democrat or a Labourite that says giving sex change operations, life-changing sex change operations that sterilize children. That sterilize you to children, is a bad idea. That should be something on either side of the aisle, right? That really should be, and I hope one day it will be, right? Anybody who speaks like a human being and talks normative values like that will win any election, right? But that's why they won't let anybody speak like that. Anyway, so what triggered me to make this video was this final thing. I spoke about this last night at my live stream, and this is why I think this gentleman is not a good idea. He is lying his arse off here, and he does it. He is Jesse Smollett-ing it like crazy. Like, this never happened. Nazis appeared in my DMs. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. You're lying. You know you're lying. I know you're lying. Is Tzvi Lebetkin complaining about me on a stream again? Checks just as night follows day. You're such a liar. Right? Lying is wrong. Lying makes you on the wrong side of history. If you want to show me a screen grab of these Nazis, go ahead. But and even then, I wouldn't believe you. I think you just mocked it up. Why would I have any Nazis? I'm a Jew, you fucking idiot. Nazis aren't fond of Jews, right? Much like socialists. That's where you guys get along. Remember National Socialists? Remember them from Germany, 1930s? Oh yeah. And also, why was Jeremy Corbyn such an anti-Semite? Because he's a socialist, right? Socialism and anti-Semitism go hand in hand. And they do, and they always have done. And I'm sorry, that's the fact. But it is the fact. Last time he streamed and mentioned me about a dozen showed up in my DMs. I got a swift blocking. Well, I'm glad you blocked those imaginary people trying to attack you. Only 3 this time, so I'm guessing it's the same few people. Oh, there's none of them. Listen, why are they acting up like this? Because everything they believed in has failed, including Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who, which is why I think Rusty Davies is causing trouble, right? Why I think he's been saying things that are counterproductive. Why? Because he's about to erase the Jodie Whittaker era forever, right? It's because it's useless, it's awful, it's garbage, right? I think he's about to erase it forever, and he wants to be an ally, right? He doesn't want to be labeled, he doesn't want to be cancelled, he doesn't want to be J.K. Rowling, right? That's what he doesn't want to happen, and that's why I think he's acting up, right? I think he believes it. Like it's fine to believe it, right? It's fine to believe it, but you're in a very public position where you can incite mentally unstable people to not particularly help themselves, right? Still, it's so funny to me how I know exactly where it came from. Of course you know exactly where it came from, because you made them up, because they're not in your head. You made them up because they're all in your head, right? You made it up. You're lying, right? It's really simple. You are lying. It's not complicated at all. You are, again, Jesse Smollett-ing it, right? And why does he think this lie is credible? Because he has a diseased, insane view of reality where anybody who doesn't share his political opinions is a racist, is a bigot. Like, I think he believes that, right? And even though he knows this isn't true, he thinks, well, it could have happened, so it's good enough to be true, right? Same with Jesse Smollett. Like, it could have happened. People could have come and put a noose on my neck and said, this is MAGA country at 3 a.m. in Chicago. Yeah. No, it couldn't. No, it couldn't. You are lying. And it's not good to lie, right? Not good. But, don't match outrage with outrage, right? It's never a good idea. Russell, mate, Russell. The reason Billie Piper didn't smoke where anybody could see him when she was playing Roses, because she knew what an influence she had, right? You got to know you got an influence. You got to know you're an influential person. And unfortunately, your influence is not one for the good right now, right? And again, the motivation behind it, I think, is because you're about to erase the Jodie Whittaker era. But in general, neither side of the cultural aisle is happy living in constant outrage. Neither of us are happy living in constant outrage. Why don't we just, give it a rest? Why don't we just, not everything has to be a fight, and viewing people as... I don't view this guy as intrinsically evil. I just view him as a bit of a twat who's lying, who's been manipulated and is himself a liar, right? Evil, they should be erased from humanity? No, I just hope he gets happier, right? He has a better life. All of them. I hope they just grow up and have better lives, right? And really, and that's the best thing for me, because then they won't bother people anymore, right? That's really the bottom line. But, so I would say... turning the other cheek isn't a particularly Jewish thing. We think if somebody's going to get up in the morning and at 7 o'clock to kill you, get up at 5 and shoot him in the head when he's in bed, right? That's really the Jewish attitude. But in this case, you can see these are people who are, including Rusty Davies, including Christopher Eccleston. These people are not doing well in life, right? In terms of their their mental well-being. Why? Because everything they believed is being disproved before them. The world is on freaking fire in front of them, right? So that's why I think it is a big motivational factor. And also, as I said, Russell's about to erase the Jodie era. Sayonara, baby. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.